Hi, my name is Judie VanKooiman, and you're watching Life Issues. April's show is about Perkins Library, and my guests are Kim Charlson and Erin Fergola. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Erin, I'm going to start with you. What is your professional background?
Well, before I started working in the library and information field, I had been working in sales and marketing. I had been working with children and early childhood development, so I had a little bit of everything.
Okay, great. And your title is Outreach Manager for the library.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Perkins Library on the campus of the Perkins School for the Blind.
Okay, awesome. And how long have you been with Perkins?
Ooh, I think this is my 7th or 8th year. I started October 2016.
Yeah. Okay, so old timer already.
Yeah, already.
And Kim, what is your professional background?
So I'm the executive director of the Perkins Braille and Talking Book Library, and I have a degree in library science. In my early days when I thought, what do I want to be when I grow up? I was going to be an attorney and work on disability rights. And when I got done with school, I was like, I don't think I want to go to school more. So I decided to go get a job. And the second place I applied was the Talking Book Library in the state of Oregon, where I lived at the time. And so that's where my story begins. I worked there for 5 years, and I kind of said, I really want to be the leader of a library. I want to run a Braille and Talking Book Library in the United States somewhere, because every state has one, but no one who was blind had worked in that role as a leader in the network of talking book libraries. So that was kind of my goal. And so I went to library school, I got a degree, I went back to my job in Oregon, and about 4 months later, I got contacted by the Perkins School for the Blind, and they said, we have a Braille and Talking Book Library, and we've heard about you, because there weren't a lot of totally blind people going to library school back when I did that in the late 80s. And so, but I did it at the right time because computers were coming in. You didn't have to read the print book to do the job. So lots of things worked out right. And they offered me a position as the deputy director. And I decided to move to Massachusetts, which I am so happy I did. I love it here. I've been here ever since. And in 2001, I was promoted to the director position of the Braille and Talking Book Library, and have been leading my team, including Erin, since that time, growing our readership at the Perkins Braille and Talking Book Library all across Massachusetts to make print accessible for people who are blind, have low vision, or physical disabilities and can't hold a book or turn the pages of a book, or a reading disability. So that's kind of the long story of how did Kim become the director of a library. Yeah. So and along the way, I've had my seeing eye dogs with me. This is Ida Bell, who's kind of sleepy. She wants to sleep. She doesn't want to hear my story. She's been there all the way.
Yeah,
so
you've been a good girl.
I've had several seeing eye dogs in the course of my time, and Ida Bell's my 5th, and she's an important part of what I do every day.
Yeah, definitely. She's part of the family. Yeah. So how long have you been with Perkins, Kim?
A long time. 39 years.
Oh, good for
39
you.
yeso So I always laugh and say they hired me when I was 14, so,
Okay.
The math checks out.
Yeah, really. So Perkins is one of those places where we do so many great things to help so many people. And it's so rewarding, and people stay a long time, don't they, Erin?
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
cool.
it's
Good.
it's a very good working environment, and very fulfilling work.
Yeah.
So.
And Erin, I'm going to switch over to you. What does Perkins offer?
Oh, goodness, an awful lot. So the Perkins as a whole, as an organization, I think offers a lot of opportunity and hope for people, for families, for individuals, for community members, for resources and agencies. There's so many things that they can provide for the individual, for the organization, for the family. For our services, our library, we are part of a network of accessible libraries that share resources with each other. So anyone in Massachusetts that should need assistance in reading materials, accessible reading materials can be beneficial for someone who has vision loss, but someone who has a physical disability, or someone who has a reading disability, someone who's had head trauma, brain injury, loss of limb. There are a lot of people who don't know that they're eligible, so we like to share information with those individuals. So basically, we are an organization, we are information professionals that are focused on providing accessible information, and that could come in the form of audiobooks, either downloadable or available through the mail on cartridge. You also have magazines, you have large print materials, you have audio-described DVDs, we have outreach programs, community-driven programs like our book groups, our poetry groups, our outreach events like Library Without Walls, our teaching programs. So we try our best to bring everything that you would be able to get from a traditional library, but this is material that would be accessible and inclusive for others.
Oh, cool. And what is Telefun, Aaron?
Oh, so Telefun was in an effort, Kim actually had created a program some time ago that was called Library Without Walls, and that was an effort to connect our patrons with guest speakers, and it was a phenomenal program. It was hugely successful for years. After COVID, we realized that perhaps we could do more than that. Perhaps there was another opportunity for us to expand and to grow upon it. So taking from that, we were able to add our book clubs to it. We were able to add poetry. We were able to add bingo. We were able to add trivia. We were able to add audio-described movies and teaching events, musical programs. The problem, though, that a lot of people may have is that there's something called a digital divide. And that's a catch-all term that refers to people who have a difficult time accessing digital content. So when we first came up with this idea, we wanted to be able to provide content which otherwise wouldn't be accessible to people over the phone. And so that's what the Telefun program does. It allows people who, if they want to join us online, they're welcome to. But for many of our patrons, it's easier for them to join over the phone. So Telefun is a remote access outreach program. Tele meaning remote,
Right.
and fun being fun. It's supposed to be a fun time. So,
Yeah, definitely.
But that's Telefun, yeah.
Okay, cool. And Aaron, what is the Perkins Brailler?
Oh, well, perhaps Kim might be a better person to answer that one. Kim actually uses...
I use Braille, and I read Braille, and so the Perkins Brailler was invented by Perkins, and it's the world's leading mechanical writing device for writing Braille. So it's not a printer, it's not an embosser, but you roll a piece of paper into it and you can Braille on that piece of paper. And it's kind of the equivalent of my pencil and paper when I want to write something down, I want to take a note, I want to jot something down to remember. And kids use it in school. So they do their spelling lists, they do their math, it's their equivalent of pen and paper. And it's sold by the Perkins School for the Blind and distributed all over the world. And we've made nearly 500,000 of them and sold them all around the globe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're very recognizable, too. You oftentimes will see them in media. Whenever someone refers to a Brailler, they don't necessarily understand what they're talking about as a Perkins Brailler. That's sort of like, it's like the Kleenex of tissues. It's like, that's what you know.
We didn't bring one today because they're a little heavy. They weigh about 9 to 10 pounds.
Oh.
So we didn't bring one to show you on the show today, but you can look at perkins.org and I'm sure see one on our website. So.
Okay. And Kim, can you tell us about the online catalog?
Sure. So all libraries have, a computerized automation system where they keep track of all their patrons, all the books, who's got what in, what's out, that kind of thing. But we also have on our website at perkinslibrary.org, we have an online catalog. So that would be for the patrons to go online and to see, gosh, I really want to get some mysteries, but I have no idea what I want. The online catalog will give you an opportunity to kind of search and poke around and look at our holdings. And if you're registered with us already, you can actually even assign a book to yourself to go through the mail, and you'll get it in a couple days. So it's a great resource. It helps you kind of figure out, I wonder if they have this book that I really want to read. So it's a tool that's available to anybody who is interested, a registered patron or anyone from the public. If you just wanted to browse our online catalog, get a sense of, well, what are these talking books all about? What do they have? You can browse it and look at it and get a sense of our collection. It's very much like that of a public library. Only the formats we have are audiobooks primarily, but we also have Braille books, we have large print books, and Erin mentioned audio described DVDs that we loan to our patrons.
Okay. And what is BARD?
Would you like me to do that one?
Sure. We're doing a good tag
Yeah,
team.
we'll go back and forth.
That
This is great.
Good.
So BARD stands for Braille and Audio Reading Download. And a lot of times people hear the word Braille and they kind of step away from it. But it can actually do both Braille and audio material. So Bard as in Bard of Avon, like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So it's an app that people can download to a smart device, either a tablet or a smartphone, Android or iOS. You can find it online, and once that is installed, then you would be able to access our digital collection. And we spoke briefly about how we have the physical player where someone could receive something in the mail saved on a cartridge. The BARD app allows people to download directly. I like to describe it as having keys to our library. You can download what you want, when you want. There is no problem with that. You can download the same title 1,000 times if you wish. But we want people to know that there are different ways that people can access media. BARD is really great for a lot of reasons, but it's probably not one of the most popular reasons. The physical player is still one of the most popular ways that people access our content.
Okay, great. And Kim, is Perkins Library open to the public?
Well, it is. We consider it the accessible public library for people in the Commonwealth who can't read regular print because of a disability. So that could be blindness, low vision, chronic migraines, situations like that, or a physical disability that makes it hard to hold a book or turn the pages of a book, like severe arthritis, Parkinson's disease, stroke. And also we provide service for people who have reading disabilities or brain injury, traumatic brain injury. So anyone who has difficulty reading print. So we're not specifically open to the public. You have to have a qualifying disability that would make you eligible. But once you are set up as a borrower of our program, all of our services are free, just like a public library, except that most of the time people get our materials through the mail. And our mail service that we utilize to send our books and for our borrowers to send the books back is free to them. So there's no postage required to return our materials. It's a special mailing classification that's been set up by the U.S. Postal Service in 1904.
Oh, wow.
To be able to allow people to mail Braille books back, way back when that's all there was for blind people. There were no audiobooks until 1934, and those were records. And then in the 70s, they had cassettes. And in the 2010, we went from cassette to the digital cartridge that I think Erin can show you. It'd be great to see the player, because as Erin said, the player is used by the majority of people who use our library. And part of the reason for that is, again, partly the digital divide, because we kind of tend to notice that people who are older may not be as comfortable with technology as younger people are. They've grown up with it, they live it, breathe it every day. But for a lot of people who are older, it's different, it's unknown, it's sometimes scary. So our machine is pretty easy to use. And most older folks find it just a lot simpler than going online. But we do have some 80 and 90-year-olds who are BARD users and download everything.
Cool.
So it depends on your skill sets, your comfort level, what you like. We want to make it as easy as possible, and that's why we have multiple ways to access our collection and get reading books that you want to listen to.
Okay.
Yes. So I have here, I'm going to hold it up. This is one of the cartridges that we now use for circulating materials. It's about the same size as its predecessor, the tape, but much better. The tape actually was susceptible to a condition called sticky shed syndrome. Sounds interesting, right?
Like a disease.
Yeah, right? Basically it was. So
Okay.
the tape that was inside of it would start to deteriorate and it would make them unusable. So the new digital format is much easier. And what we can actually do is that we can customize cartridges. So this is the one that I have for my own purposes. But if somebody wanted to, we could put many different titles on it and send it out to an individual patron based upon their reading preferences, their exact requests. So
Okay.
much easier for us to customize for every patron's needs.
Yeah, cool. Okay, great. Erin, how many items does Perkins Library circulation have?
Goodness,
I can answer
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I have to deal with those
Oh,
statistics
okay.
all the time, so
All
I'm
right.
familiar with that. We have 250,000 titles available in our collection. Now that's everything. So we have about 40,000 Braille titles. We have, and most of the rest, about 150 or more thousand, are audiobook titles, about 15,000 large print titles, and about 2,000 DVDs. So we have a pretty significant collection, and the pretty much there's no waiting list. If somebody wanted, their most popular bestseller, they can call us, and we create that cartridge, that customized cartridge for them, and they don't have to wait in line for a long time for that really, really popular bestseller. We can just do it for them and create the cartridge with the books on it that they are interested in getting.
Okay. And Erin, what is Newsline?
Good question. Newsline is one of the services that our library provides for patrons. There are some people that love to read and they're very literature driven and that's what their focus is. And there's some people they prefer to just watch movies and that's what they like to use a library for. And then there are other people that like to stay on top of news and current events. For those individuals, Newsline is really where it's at because it gives someone the most current and up-to-date information of what's going on right now, not just Massachusetts, but anywhere in the world or anywhere in the country. So you could have somebody who wants to read the Chicago Tribune and they can pick up the phone or they can go online and they can access that. Someone may want to listen to newspapers or magazines or even Sunday sectionals, and all that can be done on Newsline. So a really interesting service.
We have about 16 local Massachusetts papers that are on the Newsline service. So the Boston Globe, the Herald, the Worcester Telegram, the Springfield Republican, Cape Cod Times, Patriot Ledger, Metro West Daily News. Those are Lowell Sun. Those are some of the big ones, and the New Bedford Standard Times. So kind of major areas around the state. We've worked really hard to get those local papers into communities so people can call Newsline and hear the news from their community.
Okay. And Kim, how long has Perkins Library been in service?
Well, amazingly enough, since about 1840, and clear back then, they only had tactile books. That was even before Braille. So predating Braille, we used a system called Boston Line Type that was raised print letters. Really hard to read. I mean, I've looked at it, I go, I don't know how those people read that. I can barely read that. But that's what people say about Braille, and I can read that just fine. So so we have been around for a long time, and we're actually the first lending library of any kind in the country that actually mailed things to people. And at first it was people just about anywhere in the country because there was nobody else doing it. Now there's a network, but that network didn't start until 1931. So we've been here all along and providing accessible reading materials all the way through all these transitions from Braille to records to cassettes to our digital format. And technology has helped us really stay up to date, contemporary, and really offer people what they need when they need it. So.
Okay. And how many patrons are enrolled for library services?
We have about 20,000 active borrowers that use our service statewide. And we estimate, and according to demographics and the Census Bureau and all the places that keep track of these things, we estimate that there's probably 150,000 more people in the Commonwealth who could access our services free of charge, but they don't know that the service exists to help them access print, which they find as a challenge, or they're not aware. So that's why we have somebody like Erin to go out and do outreach and talk to groups and spread the word about our library, because we're kind of a well-kept secret, and we don't want to be a secret anymore. We want everybody to know about us.
Right, right. And Kim, how does the library raise monies?
We are funded primarily through an appropriation from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And that comes to us through the state agency called the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. And we have an annual budget. And being affiliated with the Perkins School for the Blind, which is almost 200 years old, we have the opportunity also for private philanthropy. And so we also can augment our budget through private gifts and grants. And so we're in a good spot when it comes to our support from the Commonwealth, from the community through gifts and grants. And it's really, it makes my job a lot easier because I can focus on programming and services and not have to worry quite so much about fundraising and budget, which is what I like. So,
okay. Is there anything else that either one of you would like to share with our audience that we didn't touch upon today?
I would just say that a reminder that all of our services are free, and anyone in the Commonwealth who resides here can apply for our service. We have an application form, and we can mail those applications out to anyone that is interested, and we can answer questions. So you can visit our website at perkinslibrary.org. or give us a call, and I can say the number if you'd like me to do that.
Yes, please.
Okay, that would be 617-972-7240. And we also have a toll-free number, I'll just say here. It's 1-800-852-3133. And Erin, do you want to do the email address?
Yeah, so the email that you can use if you wanted to contact us that way would be library@perkins.org.
Okay. And is there anything else that you'd like to share, Erin, that we didn't touch upon?
We are very appreciative of the community that we have in this state. This is a really great organization that does an awful lot of good to help a lot of people, and people know our name, they know what we do. So we're just very appreciative to be in such a warm and understanding environment that allows us to help so many people.
Yeah, that's great.
So if
Okay.
anybody has questions, reach out. We're certainly there to help and help connect people with other resources as well. So
Okay.
thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm sorry, but that's all the time that we have. Thank you both for all you do for those in need. I love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. Please send them to lifeissuestv@gmail.com. And remember, live each day to the fullest and celebrate life. Hi, my name is Judie VanKooiman. I'm the founder and president of Those Who Can for Those in Need.
And I'm Sebastian Lemieux. I'm the treasurer.
We connect people and resources from the greater Boston and North Shore area.
We help provide help with elderly, losing a loved one, children, low income, homelessness, mental illness, disease and health issues, substance abuse, domestic violence, LGBTQ, and veterans.
We are Winthrop-based, but like we mentioned earlier, we cover a large area.
Our website is twctin.org, and on there you can find the various resources from the organizations that are with us, past episodes of Life Issues, which is a resource show, and our newsletters.
We hold 2 major events every year. We have our annual comedy show fundraiser in the spring, and early September we have our annual Family Resource Fair. For both events, please check out our website and social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
During our resource fair, our visitors will be able to visit the resource tables, there's food, and also various family activities.
To end, I started Those Who Can for Those in Need in memory of my husband, who passed away in 2007 of cancer. You can go on our website to learn more, twctin.org.
Thank you.
you.